Hey there, good morning. Just a quick change of scenery here. If you were a part of any of our more Monday broadcasts back during quarantine, you recognize my backyard here. But this morning we have a special treat of Pastor Dave, who is our youth pastor, student pastor, I don't know what we call him nowadays, but anyway, is going to bring our devotion today. And I'm excited to hear from him, and I'm excited for all of us as we anticipate in this Advent season the great hope and love and peace and joy that is Jesus. Here's Pastor Dave.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave Kurtz, and I am here to talk a little bit about hope. My verse that I'm going with is found in Romans chapter 15, verse 13, and says, "May now the God of hope fill you with all the joy and peace as you believe in him, so that you may overflow with the hope by the power of the Holy Spirit." The reason I picked this verse is amazing, especially during a time in Advent, that in Romans we find a verse that has a couple other pieces of Advent, including joy and peace, along with hope. And what I love about it is the fact that that the idea of that the God of hope, the theme that I'm talking about, is made up of joy and peace. It's almost like it's a combination of two elements that are necessary in order to have a great relationship. In order to be filled with God's love, you have to have the joy of God and you have to have the peace of God in between that gives you hope. I think that people think that hope is based on something that is happening in their life that gives them happiness. That they look out and they see something that they like, or something that makes them feel better about life, and then therefore that gives them that hope. But when those things go away, or something doesn't go their way, then they'll say, "I've lost hope," whether it's in a system or a person or a situation. They say, "I've lost hope." But the fact is that our hope doesn't come from something that is based in our happiness. Our hope comes from God, and where and how God moves is not determined upon whether we're going to be happy about it, whether we're going to enjoy it, whether we're even going to be supportive of it, but it's God. And that hope doesn't go away because God doesn't go wishy-washy, or he doesn't change with the tides or the opinions or polls or anything like that. His hope is eternal. I think the biggest idea that I see of hope, obviously, in my relationship with God, is a reminder that he is constantly pouring his joy and his peace, like I talked about from my verse. Joy is not based in how I feel, it's based in how I see God. And the peace that I have is not something that is determined by anybody else but my relationship with God. In my life here on earth, the hope that I see is in looking into my children and seeing them grow in their understanding of God. Because they are smarter, they are going to be more open to what God has to say than I can be, just the same way that I am. That's why God asks us to come as children, because they don't see a limit. And my hope in my life comes from seeing them put their hope in God.